Hello, this is Kurt Rice, VP of Technical Services for Interprise Solutions. In this video, we'll be discussing the installation of the e-commerce module for Interprise and how to correctly configure it both in IIS and inside of Interprise itself. Some of the things we'll be covering in this video will include the documentation we have online so far, some of the IIS settings, in this case Windows 7 64-bit, some quick conversation between virtual directories and websites, folder permissions, how to get the e-commerce module starting in 5.4.1. It is a separate download. It's not included in the IS installer any longer. And then how to configure the website against your production or demo databases as you see fit. So let's get started. First, I'll set the expectations here. I've already got Interprise Suite installed on this particular virtual machine. I'm going to open up Google Chrome here, my web browser, and go to enterprisesolutions.com. You'll need an account set up on enterprisesolutions.com. Those are familiar with the Connected Business website that we used to have. That's been deprecated in favor of the new enterprisesolutions.com website. I'm already logged in, and when I mouse over Customer, I can see My Downloads. It's under My Downloads where you'll download the e-commerce module and the Interprise installer. If you have any issues getting a hold of these files, the phone number here in the upper right hand part will they'll be happy to assist you to get the installer. In my case, I've already downloaded and extracted this particular zip file to inetpub www.root Enterprise Suite e-commerce. My first step will be to configure IIS. I've got a shortcut down here on my virtual machine. It also could be found under the administrative tools within Windows 7. I'll expand this to full screen here. And underneath here we can see we have a default website. We're going to want to include a virtual directory. I'm going to add a virtual directory. I'm going to call it ISE demo. The physical path is where I extracted the physical file downloaded from the website that we pointed out just a moment ago. In this case, I extracted it right here to this particular directory as we saw in the file system, and I'll hit OK. In Windows 7, IIS now has the desire to have you convert this to an application. I'll do that now, and if I choose the default AppPool, we're going to get an error when we run this particular website. And I'm allowing you to see the error, so it'll sink in with you. When you see this, you'll know what to do about it. We've got some unmanaged code here, the chillcat.net component. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And the reality is, for application pools, we want to create a new application pool for each website that we have anyway. So I'm going to choose the name ISE Demo. I am going to use the 2.0 framework, and I'm going to choose Classic as the Managed Pipeline mode. I'm also going to go to the Advanced settings and allow 32-bit applications. This is what the Chillcat was having an issue with. And lastly, under the process model, I'm going to choose Network Service and hit OK. So I've now set my application pool correctly. I'll go back to the IS demo, choose the Advanced settings, go to the application pool, and choose my IS demo application pool. When I click on Browse, we should see the IP address and then the ISE demo, which is the name of the virtual machine that I gave to this website. It'll take a little bit the first time for the ISE web application to compile within IIS. So I'm going to go ahead and just wait a few seconds. And there it is. Okay, so we have a website up and running. Let's talk real quickly about the configuration piece and assigning I'm going to go ahead and open up the Enterprise Application Configuration tool, which is installed by default when you install Enterprise Suite. We'll need to configure the web config to point at the same database as your IS production database or your testing database. Okay, so from the File menu, we'll browse down to the directory where we have previously placed the ISE web code. And in this case, it is in the inetpub www.root Enterprise Suite e-commerce folder. I'll scroll down to the bottom and choose the web config file and choose open. And let's discuss all of the components that we'll need to set up here. Okay, first and foremost, we'll want to choose the ellipsis button here, the More Options button, to configure that and make sure we're aiming at the correct database. I've got SQL Server Management Studio already running, and what we see right here is exactly the database name, and sometimes you'll see an instance name here as well, and the ISSI Demo US database, which is indeed what I have in place here. I can choose the test connection, and that connection shows up successfully. I will also test the user account right now. I'll click on the test right here, and that connection succeeds as well, which it's using the web admin and a password of web admin to connect up. Those are the defaults. I suggest you change those as soon as you install the software. And I hit the drop down here, and indeed it's pointing at a website. Okay, so we'll need to make a few changes here now. As a matter of fact, the first change I'm going to make is call this ISE demo. This is not a necessary piece, but as you have more items, more test environments, you'll want to do something like that as well. Notice that I had that set to LAN connection. You'd never want to connect up an ISE to a database over anything other than a direct LAN connection. I've got the application already open here, and we can see if I click on F2 under my demo company that it's aiming at the same database. And I will use guest and we'll test that just to make sure that it's connecting up. Indeed it does. We will call this ISE demo. Save and close. That's my default checkbox, so that'll be the one that shows up here. And I'll go ahead and sign into Enterprise. So quickly, I'm going to jump down to the e-commerce module, and I'm going to open up the web store. When I open up web store, there's a few configuration changes we'll need to make so so we can configure the balance of the ISE application, such as XML packages, etc., through the business service for the website, or the website service I should say. I'll click on details for my website, and you'll need to do this for each and every website that you have set up within your system. The first thing we'll do is set up the storefront service and the storefront URL. When I go back to IIS and I browse the particular website, this is where I go to grab the information to feed back to this setting right here. So I'll go ahead and grab the ISE demo. And I'm going to paste that right here. And I'll leave the storefront service.asmx in place, but everything before that will need to be replaced. So there we go. We've got the ISE demo with the storefront service, web service. This will help set us help us set the XML packages. We've got the web store service URL. I'll go ahead and hit save and close here. And the fastest and quickest way to test this will be to open up an item within Enterprise. So I'm going to go back to Enterprise here. I'm going to open up an item and click the drop down for the XML packages. If this drop-down works, you know you've got your ISE store configured correctly. So just to recap, this is how you could set up multiple stores for testing your live web store. I'll probably create a video that will show you all the ins and outs of creating production versus demo. Bye for now.